with you all. We have a couple of main points to get to tonight. If I don't know you, which I feel like I recognize most of your faces, I am Melissa Tenholder, and I am the Tower Grove Director of Connections. I'm also your online service host, and you have seen a lot of my face in the last few months, but I have also been a part of our Journey-wide reentry team for the last several months. And so tonight we are going to just walk through reentry, what it's going to look like, what it will feel like, really from registration to exit. Before we do that, though, we want to celebrate together. And I want to introduce you to someone who has become just very quickly special and endeared to us at Tower Grove, and that is Pastor Milton Mitchell. And I see he's got his wife, Angie, with him. We have, as you've noticed, as you've heard, we have experienced some transition on our staff, and we have really been praying for a pastoral presence, someone with deep wisdom, somebody who clearly loves the Lord, loves his word, loves his people. And in and through those prayers, the Lord brought to us Pastor Milton and his family. He has been serving at Hanley Road as an elder, and he is now joining us at Tower Grove as our associate pastor and really focusing in on care. And as soon as you hear even a couple of sentences, you will not need me to tell you anything else about him. But he really truly is a shepherd of people. It's only been a couple weeks that we've been working together. And this man is just cares for the staff well and will care for you all well. And I know he's looking forward to over time meeting everybody and just sort of like learning how to do the Tower groove. Like, we have a groove here and he's going to slide right in. So I just like for Milton and Angie to just take a couple minutes, tell us kind of briefly how you got to this place at Tower Grove and kind of what you see like God's vision for this season of your life and what your like hopes and dreams are.
Well, hey family, it is so good to see your beautiful faces, especially maskless. I can actually see faces. It's a beautiful thing. I'm coming to you all the way with my wife, and our kids are upstairs from the Chuck, St. Charles, and it's just good to be with you all. We are so just blessed by God to be a part of this amazing family. I want to say first and foremost, there have been so many of you that have reached out and made me feel so warm, made me and my family feel so warm and welcome. I want to introduce my wife, Angie Mitchell. She is my rock, and I call her my pastor. So if you think whatever I get it from her. She is an amazing woman of God, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life. We have two children. Benji is 13, and he is taller than me, disrespectfully so. And my daughter, Leah, is 16, and she's driving. Keep us in extra prayer during this time of our lives. But we're so grateful to be with you all. Hopefully you all received the email video from us where Pastor John emailed it last week, and it was a little bit of an introduction about our family. You'll probably hear us more talk about how we got to this place, but for sure it is but by the grace of God that we're able to be a part of this opportunity. I don't want to spend too much time. I would love for you to just quickly hear from my wife because she is the better part of me. But I just again want to say thank you. I want to shout out our deacon team who has been so gracious in welcoming me, all the Tower Grove staff, Pastor Curtis. It has just been such a warm and beautiful welcome. Thank you all so much. Hey, Miss Tracy, good to see you all.
Hello, everyone. Just honored to be here, and we really feel like this is just an extension. You guys are family. We feel connected already, and so just honored and blessed to have the opportunity to serve alongside you all and to just continue work in God's kingdom for us. We'd love to tell you all the details of our story, but just know that it's been 20 years in the making. Milton and I were college sweethearts, and Milton kept telling God what he wasn't going to do. And so now here we are. And so really just humbled to see how God has worked in our lives. and has grafted our lives together to bring us to this point. Milton's from St. Louis. I'm from California. He told me weather was good here in St. Louis. I didn't know. And
it's 80 in October. I promise.
Didn't see the small print in the contract. And so, but no, seriously, it's been awesome being here 4 years now, and St. Louis has been good. And we feel like God called us here, and it's just so much. So I can talk forever. So I like coffee, so we can meet up for coffee and share more, but honored to be here.
And I don't like coffee, but we can meet up still. Love y'all.
We're working on you, Milton, with the coffee. We're going to get him. We're going to coffee. Thank you both for being here. One of the biggest blessings about getting to know Milton is getting to know his family. I've had coffee with Angie. It's great. She's wonderful. Can't get enough of their whole family. So we will be blessed to have them in our midst. And I'm just wondering from the Mitchells, just quickly, how can our church family be praying for you all as you experience a career change, a church home change from Hanley Road to Tower Grove, as you step into that pastoral role that you've sort of been, I don't know what the right word is, skirting, hesitant, but when you're kind of settling in, how can we be praying on your behalf?
That's a question that's been repeatedly asked. So that just shows me the heart of this church. I simply ask that you pray that we continue to follow the will of God for our lives. That's part of our story, is like Ann said, whatever it is I said I was not going to do, God had a way of nudging me so ever so gently toward that which he called me to, which was what I said I wasn't going to do. And I just want to continue to be open to whatever it is he wants to do in our family, but especially in our church, and however I can be a part of that. We just want to do it and be, as Pastor Curtis always says, open-handed with our God. So, but that's it. God has been gracious to provide us with health and strength and margin in the season, and even if he didn't provide that, he's still good. So I just want to follow his will and to fall in more in love with him. You could be praying, especially though, for our children as they are wading through life and trying to figure out teenage years. Just pray for their protection and their spiritual walk. That's our heart, is our family. So, but yeah, thank you all.
Yeah. And I have a funny story. Can I tell you real quick?
Quickly.
So earlier this week, just thinking about just this new season and the posture that I want to maintain, and that's that we would serve, the idea of serving, not being served, And I thought, wow, that's like, Angie, that's good. Like, that's tweetable. And then it's like, oh, Jesus said that, like this idea of like, so serving, not being served. So yes, pray for us, but just know that we come with our sleeves pulled up, ready to serve. And so, yeah, that's it.
And obviously quote Jesus. So.
Two important things. Thank you, Mitchells. Hey, Nikki Camp, will you pray for the Mitchell family?
Am I unmuted? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yes, I will. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for who you are, for loving us so much, for giving us the journey to be a part of the Journey family together, all these people. God, I thank you for what you've done in this church, for the way that you have sustained this church through so much, over so much time. And God, that you are carrying that story forward with the Mitchell family, Lord. We just feel so confident that Milton and his whole family is called into this space, God. And we ask that you would just deeply equip and empower and lead the Mitchells in this season, God, as they there's just so much hunger that I've seen so far in Angie and in Milton to just plug into the journey, and like Angie just said, to serve. God, we pray that they and their kids would find their footing in Tower Grove, that they would feel loved and cared for, that they would find relationships that are deeply life-giving to them. I pray for Leah and Benji, that they would make fast friends in our Journey students, and that they would feel cared for by the older people in our church, even as we're just trying to get to know them through COVID. Yeah, I pray that you would bless the ministry that you bring to Milton and Angie and their kiddos. And I pray that your name would be glorified, Jesus. We thank you for your death on the cross, and we praise things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. All right, church. So I was just kind of reflecting on how many re-entry details we have, and it's really not that much. It's not overwhelming. But first, I just wanted to acknowledge that we long to be together. That we have learned something in this longing, and that is being part of this church body, of this Tower Grove church body, is a gift and something that is special and not meant to be taken lightly. And this gospel community that builds us up and points our eyes on that common path toward an eternal kingdom is provided to make an impact on us, on each other, and far beyond that. This group here feels different than other groups and other areas in our lives, as it should, and that we miss seeing how our gifts build each other up, the hearing of other people's voices in worship, teaching the kids, rocking the babies, just the sounds of kids laughing, the smiles, the hugs, all of it, the communion, praying together. And we've had the opportunities, and I know a lot of you have been able to join us for a party on the pavement or for our Stories and Songs night. Quick note, our last Stories and Songs night, maybe our last outdoor gathering of the year, TBD, we have a creative idea in the works, but that is this Sunday from 5:30 to 7. So Linda Lipa is going to drop in the link now. It's not too late to join us. Would love to see you there. We will be taking communion outside together, and we're making little s'more kits. It's dependent, but we're hopeful. So what we've learned in this long period is that we have to think differently and creatively about how to stay engaged, how to stay at the table. And maybe that looks like coming back for in-person gatherings. And maybe that means for you and for your situation, that means to continue doing the 10 a.m. online service. The 10 a.m. service will remain for the foreseeable future. And that is absolutely a viable option for you for whatever circumstance you're in. But even then, there's still opportunities to be engaged. Maybe it's real time in the chat. And I know I talk about that a lot, but the reason why is because you get to welcome other people who are new. You get to be a host in that way. You get to enjoy that real-time fellowship of other believers. And it's just one out of the many ways that you can be serving in this season. I know that there are people who are leading a group now who have never led a group before. Our Journey Kids team has been doing an amazing job. I want to shout out Carrie Nucky, because the Journey Kids activity boxes, a fun fall family drive-through night. I mean, these are creative ideas of how to keep our Tower Grove church family connected to each other and connected to the church in a time when it can feel really tricky to do that. So just reminding us that to stay engaged can look different for all of us, but I really do think that there are opportunities for everyone to pull up a chair and grab a seat at this table. A woman sewed over 100 masks for us to be able to use for staff and for our host team and for anyone who maybe doesn't have one. So bring your ideas, bring your passions, bring your leadership. Please be praying for us, and just consider how you can continue to use your gifts in a way that build up this body. And if you're kind of like, well, I have this idea, or I'm not sure what to do exactly, I kind of want to talk it through, please just email me. This is one of my favorite conversations to have, is trying to help you find kind of your sweet spot in our church. All right. So let's talk specifics. Let's talk through the plan. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk us through what reentry is going to feel like. And if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. But I do think that after I'm going to talk us through, and then I'm going to show a video, because some of us are visual learners. And then if after that I have an FAQ document, I mean, what you should be hearing is that we are prepared. We are prepared to come back and gather safely together. And if after all this, you still have questions, happy to take those at the end, or if they're kind of like very specific, nuanced question for you and your family, happy to either stay later or to have a follow-up conversation with you. All right, I'm going to pull up my notes because I don't want to miss a thing. The one place where you're going to want to be checking and rechecking is our Tower Grove landing page, our website. It's thejourney.org/TG that is being continually updated with new information. So for example, if you're looking for registration links for services, that's the best place to find those. It's really your one-stop shop for all things re-entry. So we are starting on November 8th. We are offering 2 service times, 8:15 and 10 a.m. And we are offering services every other week. So through this re-entry process, each church, each Journey location has really been able to decide what works best for their location and for their people. And as our staff was kind of looking at our needs at Tower Grove, we recommended to come back every other week in a staggered way, just because of how many people we have attending. This gives us a natural kind of quarantine period if it would be needed. This gives us an opportunity for staff to be involved because we are all really excited to see you and to be able to have a host team that can serve. So really, to do every other week 2 services, that means through the end of 2020, we are meeting 4 Sundays. We're meeting on November 8th, 22nd, December 6th, and December 20th through the end of 2020. And just as a reminder, when it comes to these kind of big decisions, this is where our elders are leading out. This is where they're discussing, they're praying, they're taking staff recommendations and observations, they're getting the pulse on our people, and ultimately making this decision for what is best for Tower Grove. And through the end of 2020, this is a decision that has been made. And we think that it is a great plan for us. South County has started back in-person services, and West County started back last week. And so this also gives us the opportunity to learn from what our other campuses are doing, to make adjustments as needed, and to keep gathering information from them, to inform our best practices, to keep up to date on just like local regulations that we have, and make sure that we are going beyond what's even required to make a safe environment for us all together again. So here's what to expect. You will be able to register on the Monday just before service. So for example, to register for Sunday the 8th, you will get an email on Monday the 2nd with a link. We will also post it on our website on thejourney.org/TG. And we will likely send an app reminder later in the week just to make sure that you have multiple opportunities there to register. And when you're doing that, you will need to register your full family. So including your kids, if you want to bring a friend or a neighbor, but everyone who needs to, who wants to come and needs to register. That helps us manage our sanctuary capacity, and also just helps us in the event that there is some kind of COVID-19 exposure, that we can responsibly contact the people who were in contact with that person. Our registration limit is 150 per service, and we have rearranged the inside of our sanctuary to allow for social distancing and for the ease of ushering. So we have a small number of spots above and beyond that 150 that are reserved for guests who show up without a registration, or for visitors, or just people who forget. But what you want to hear is register, register, register. You can actually go back and cancel a registration. So if something changes or somebody can't come, that is a function that you should be able to have. I say will, and then I think, is this? Yes. But we'll make sure that in all of our communication over the next few weeks in our weekly email on that journey.org/TG page, that we'll be making that really, really clear, because I don't want to promise something that ends up being really tricky. You will need to wear a face covering. Everyone 5 and over is required to do that. So bring your face covering, but leave your food and drink. We cannot have food and drink in our sanctuary, so leave that at home, leave it in the car. We'll have a table outside just in case you've got it with you, where you can leave that and grab it on your way out. We do recommend that you arrive early, about 15 to 20 minutes before service times, and those are 8:15 and 10 o'clock, so that we can welcome you, because we will need to be checking you in if you've come to any of our outdoor events. It's a very similar process. We'll ask for the last 4 digits of your phone number, and we can check in everybody who you've registered. We will be ushering you to a seat. So we have markers for waiting, and then we have markers in our lobby so that we can make sure we're waiting even in a socially distanced way. And then our host team will be able to specifically usher you into seats in the sanctuary. We're going to be entering through the big green doors on Kings Highway. So that's our one single entry point. And we don't expect, especially if you're committed to arriving early, really to have to wait in line for very long, because we know it's going to be getting cold outside. When you are waiting, anybody who you'd like to sit with, so maybe you didn't register together, but you have a friend group or another family who you want to be able to sit with, you'll need to be in line together, because once you're seated, we ask that you would stay seated, because if you're up and zigzagging all around, it's really hard to maintain social distancing in that way. So have all your people together. It's sort of like a restaurant that will ask, is everyone in your party ready to be seated? And the maximum that group size can be is 7. That's just the way that our rows in the sanctuary allow. So if possible, we ask for you to just stay seated once you're seated. The water fountains are closed. We have lower bathroom capacity, and it really just helps with our flow. And I think that actually feels like a reasonable ask, because our services will be shorter. They'll be right at an hour or maybe a little bit less. We'll have, of course, live worship. It'll be a smaller worship team, and we look forward to hearing John preach. We're really looking forward to hearing Milton preach later in November. And then after service is over, communion will be offered once a month, and we'll have those individual cups like we've had for outdoor gatherings that have a wafer on top. And then if we are doing communion, we'll make sure that you know exactly what to do and how to get that. And then when we are finished with service, you will go out the exit doors, actually the front doors by the stage. I could say the north, south, or east, west doors, but I actually don't, that's not my skill set. I don't know. So it's the 2 doors by the stage. All right, that's a lot of information. So I'm just gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you a video that walks you through our specific space. And don't be freaked out, because the video is also me, but it's on a different day, all right? So just hang with me. Okay, I'm doing great sharing my screen. Hey, Tower Grove family, it's Melissa here. As you can see, we are eagerly awaiting the day when we can gather together again. We are preparing our sanctuary, getting things ready. Whether you've been watching services live at 10 a.m., and I know you've been representing that chat, or even watching it back later, we've still always been one church with one vision to see our city awakened to and transformed by the love of Jesus. So whether you are planning to join us in person for services or to continue watching online, we still are enjoying grace and body love and engaging culture together as one Journey family. And we will walk you through now specifically what it will feel like when we are back together in person. That family parking lot now is available for all of us to park. If you could park there or on Odell, that would be preferred, because we will be lining up on Kings Highway to be entering our building through one entrance, the big doors on Kings Highway past the steps. We will have clear markers on the ground for you to maintain your social distancing. There will also be hosts who will be so excited to see you, who will be waving and greeting you and checking you in for the service. Once you're in through the lobby, you will notice that we have rearranged our sanctuary to make it easier for us to see you in a socially distanced way. So your host will usher you into a specific spot. You will also see many signs outside and slides that will remind you of some things to know. Once you're seated, we ask for you to stay seated, that you will be limiting your bathroom usage as much as possible. Masks are required for ages 9 and up in our buildings. We ask that you leave your food and drink behind in your cars. And children, we know that kids during our service are going to need a little bit of time to wiggle. So you are welcome to take kids outside as needed. And there's no reason for you to reach out and grab anything. Let your hosts really provide hospitality to you in that way. After the shorter, just 55-minute to 60-minute service is over, look for your hosts who will be pointing you toward the side exits near the stage. Tower Grove family, we cannot wait to be together again. Okay, and I'm back. All right, so that was good. Here are the main things to know. Register, come early, bring a mask, be prepared to be ushered in and to stay in your seat once you're there. Please enjoy that worship. I mean, we have heard stories from South County, West County about people offering a lot of call and response, just so excited to be together. You do not have to hold back during that part. Just because you're masked and we're being careful does not mean that you have to be quiet and that you cannot like exuberantly worship. And then if you need to fellowship and you want to fellowship, we can do that outside. So bring a coat, be prepared. All right. That is the official re-entry updates. So I'm ready for questions if you've got them. But I really do want you to know that we are excited to see you and we're ready. We're really, really ready, church. The safety instructions on a flight. You guys, I can't, okay. All right, make sure if you need to scroll back up to see these links, Carrie's dropped in about the drive-through fall family night. Is that this Friday, Carrie? Next Friday. Next Friday. I don't know what day it is. I thought it was October 8th yesterday. That is not a joke. Turns out it's not. I'm behind. Fall family night. Yeah, children are welcome in the service. That's a really good point. Carrie, can you just unmute and just speak to that? Because I think it's really helpful for parents like myself to hear that straight from you.
Sure. Yeah, I just want to encourage families. We know that obviously, depending on the ages of kids, it can be a little tricky in service. We just want to embrace that, like, it's okay if they make a little noise. Like, I just want families to feel like, that's okay. We're all going to be family together. It might be a little messy. We'll have activity, little packets for them as well. But I just encourage you to not let that be a hindrance of coming. And even if it means that you come and you only last for 30 minutes before you go, like, there's something just still so beautiful about being together. And even just thinking about just being able to see children, I think it's just so good. So just want to encourage you to, yeah. And if you have specific questions or concerns, feel free to reach out.
Thanks for saying that, Carrie. Yeah, and if your kids get wiggly during the middle, we have arrows that go up our aisles and you'll be able to turn and you can go right outside if that is a need of yours. That is okay. It's okay to try it and not make it. I feel like my mom voice just came out. Let's just try it and see how it goes. Come ready to sing. Russ he might have 18 songs for us on the 8th. I'm just concerned about that. It's going to be so good. Are there any other questions that you have about reentry in general? Curious about things, or I feel like, with the website, we're going to keep sending out that weekly Wednesday email, and we really are just committed to making sure you have all the tools that you need to feel like you know what to do and that you can be safe doing it. Reminder, no drinks. Yep, that's real. Yeah, Jessica I did get your question, and I'll respond back to you just personally. I'm glad you asked. Yeah, we'll have a little table for your bevs. If you have coffee and wine and you forget it, it's okay. You can come back and get it later. It's going to be, yeah, that means no snacks for kids. We're just going to ask them to just hold tight for 55 to 60 minutes. See what we can do. That is our official close of the meeting. Thank you for being here. Lost and found cups on the table. Lost and found cups, a lot of them were very gross, Joel Black, and they have had coffee in them since March. So some of them were not able to be salvaged, unfortunately. So that is sort of like a grab at your own risk type situation. We are starting, yeah, we're clearing out some of our spaces and we're thinking, wow, this has been sitting here for a bit, that the coffee creamer does not hold up well, just so you know. Yeah, the side door, that's a really good point, William Davey. The side door from the driveway in that circle drive, if you do need a flat entrance, that is available to you. If you come up, we'll have the door still closed, but if you knock on those, a host will come right over and welcome you in. We also have a small roped off nursing moms area that is in the lobby, but we have it, yeah, we have sort of a creative solution there. The balcony will be closed at this point. All right, family. Thanks for being here. Good to see y'all, and good night.